Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be exploring the internet computer, the Bullish report that has just come out. We're going to be discussing what this Bullish report shows, what the internet computer is currently doing, and more importantly, what the metrics of the network are showing, because we are now in the second half of 2025. An internet computer has now released Caffeine AI, and a lot of integrations are starting to come out, a lot of demos and people who are utilizing this AI capability to build programs and dApps on the internet computer and build up the capabilities and usage of the internet computer's network. We are seeing a lot going on, and I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about this as we move forward. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Give the video a free thumbs up, because crypto and internet computer are not free, but thumbs up are always free. And let's get right into the Bull report on the internet computer. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that there is a lot that we've covered on internet computer, on the metrics of the network, on the expansion of the network, of the technological integrations that Dfinity and the developers over at ICP are working towards. But the most important one that we've seen is what they call the self-writing internet, which is utilizing artificial intelligence, large language models to basically build dApps or websites or programs for you just through natural language, just through talking. That's what literal large language models are doing. Now, there are other LLMs that also can code as well, but there's only one that can specifically code for this kind of decentralized network ecosystem. And we've also seen the expansion of a lot of the different metrics on the internet computer protocol, including the burn rate, the transaction per second rate, and also how much coin is currently being staked. So there is a lot of bullish signals that we're getting already. But now we are starting to see the big players in the crypto space starting to pick up on the narrative and understand what internet computer is doing. I think a lot of this also has to do with the narrative shift away from Bitcoin, where we are in the middle of 2025, and moving towards Ethereum and the Ethereum-based ecosystems, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin can't really do that much from a decentralized finance perspective, from a yield-generating asset perspective. They're trying to build products to do things like that, like collateralized loans and stuff like that, but that is not widespread or widely used as of now. But when you look at decentralized finance, it is being used. And now we have this whole new world of artificial intelligence integrated into the blockchain and DeFi world, and how that can make things easier and better, but also the building makes things easier and better. I'm actually going to be posting a video very shortly, or maybe it's already out by the time you're watching this video, called Internet Computer AI Outsmarts Wall Street Empires, where we are now having developers utilizing this large language model AI program to build basically exact replicas of entire organizations. Multi-billion-dollar Wall Street organizations can literally be replaced by the internet computer's dApp. Things are changing in the world, and as NVIDIA's CEO, I think it's Jensen Huang, he said that jobs are probably not going to be replaced by AI, but jobs that utilize AI will be replaced, will be replacing jobs that don't use AI. So you got to ask the question, in your job, are you utilizing AI? Are you allowed to utilize AI? And if the answer is no, how is that going to impact your job in the future? And that brings us to the interview. This is the Binance interview. Binance recently did an interview with two of the employees over at Dfinity, the chief business officer, Pierre, and also the chief tech officer and chief cryptographer, Jan, from the Dfinity Foundation, which is the main developer behind the internet computer. And they talked about the self-writing internet, sovereign clouds, apps, and AI, and Bitcoin DeFi via chain fusion. Remember, internet computer, regardless of what all of the claims out there are from other blockchains, internet computer is the only, let me say that again, internet computer is the only blockchain that is running DeFi on Bitcoin. Now, granted, Ethereum does have connections to Bitcoin, but most of their DeFi is not integrated or utilizing Bitcoin. It's basically utilizing Ethereum. But we've been having a lot of other change trying to chase narratives recently and saying that they're going to be the number one at Bitcoin DeFi. They don't even have a connector to Bitcoin. How are they going to become the Bitcoin DeFi blockchain of the planet? They're not. But Internet Computer is well positioned to actually do that. Despite all the claims of these other blockchains, Internet Computer, you can clearly see, is growing their Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem with chain-fused Bitcoin, which is their interoperability mechanism for bridging coins from one chain to another, has been steadily increasing over the course of the last 1 year. You can see on this 1 year chart, we started 1 year ago about 232 Bitcoin, and now we're at 396 Bitcoin. That's a big difference, especially where we are in the cycle with Bitcoin hitting all-time record highs. So if we do the math on this, 396 times about $120,000 Bitcoin is about $47 million in Bitcoin DeFi. Now, relative to the market cap of Bitcoin, this is relatively small, but again, we're on Internet Computer, which only has a $2.5 billion valuation. So this is a small portion of Internet Computer and an even smaller portion of Bitcoin. But obviously, this is the early stages, and the idea is to grow this ecosystem out. But anyway, back to the Binance interview. What we're going to be doing now is exploring what was talked about in this Binance interview, see if there's any clues or any understanding that we may not already have on this channel about what Internet Computer's goals, vision, and future is. And if you're up to this point in the video, make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you never miss a new video. Sometimes we do deep dives like today, and sometimes we just talk about the macro environment in finance. And you can also become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month. Click the join or subscribe plus button down below to learn more here on YouTube. Let's get into it. So at the end of July, we had Binance do an interview with two of the executives from Dfinity Foundation. And I think we should just go through it. So they were asked, what is the vision behind the self-writing internet? And how does it connect to Internet Computer's canister smart contract architecture and fully on-chain dApps? They said, the self-writing internet enables anyone to build and deploy full-stack applications without coding, powered by AI. The Caffeine platform generates app logic and deploys it directly to Internet Computer's sovereign infrastructure. Now, continuing on, they said which applications on ICP are currently leading the way in adopting this self-writing paradigm, and what does the real-world usage and performance look like? The team at Dfinity said Caffeine AI is leading the charge, enabling both technical and non-technical users to build applications through natural language. At the San Francisco Hackathon, participants created real-world tools such as HIPAA-compliant medical apps, legal document generators, and civic tools. These early use cases validate the robustness of ICP's infrastructure. And by the way, there's a lot of applications that are being created by users in the ecosystem of Internet Computer, including this user, Fabio, who created an entire dashboard for him to track the Internet Computer price to, compared to other cryptos, as well as tokenomics, all the different mechanisms here. And this was all created utilizing the Caffeine AI coding tool, which is pretty unbelievable because previously you would have to rely on people who knew how to code to create these kind of dashboards and add different features. But effectively, now you can do it yourself through the use of Caffeine AI. And I'm going to be doing a full video. I think I already did a full video on this dashboard, but I'm going to be doing some other videos as well on some other user-generated apps that were created utilizing the Internet Computer's Caffeine AI model, which is, I mean, again, revolutionary because before you would have to rely on somebody to do it. So if you're a coder, now you can utilize these AI components to help you code and make your job way more efficient. Going back to NVIDIA's CEO saying, if you're not using AI, yeah, your job may be replaced, but it's not going to be replaced if you're using AI. Again, making it more efficient. Hello. I mean, that just makes sense. I was talking to somebody a few weeks ago who is in an industry that can be very quickly replaced by AI. But they are totally unaware of how robust the AI technology is. They believe that AI technology is just what we see with ChatGPT and Grok AI and stuff like that. I'm like, no, it's like way more advanced than that. They may not give you access to it, but it's been around for, quite a while. And the industries are already using it. You may just not know it, and they're going to continue to ever increasingly use it. And if you're not aware of that, yeah, you're going to be out of a job and be like, oh, well, why did this happen? It's like, well, it happened because you didn't adapt. The technology is not going to adapt to keep your job, right? The whole idea of technology and advancement is to make things more efficient, better, easier. And you have to either be part of that or you're pushed to the side. I mean, this goes with any kind of new technology that's created. When they created cars, you didn't have to use a car, but you're going to be outpaced by what a car can do if you're still on horse and buggy. Some people are okay with that, and that's okay. The Amish still don't use cars. They'd rather have horse and buggy, and that's fine. But if you want to be more efficient, you're going to use a car. Now, some people are going to say the Amish are more efficient, and maybe in the world of like non-AI user generated stuff, like for instance, construction. I would say Amish are probably a little bit more efficient in construction than construction companies, right? But when we're talking about AI and AI capabilities, I mean, there's really going to be no comparison. Clearly, the AI is going to make people's jobs easier, more efficient, better. They're going to be able to produce more, and that's going to be good for everyone, right? But if you're not part of it, well, you're going to be left behind. That's kind of how these things work. How does ICP Stack enable developers to host both front end and back ends entirely on chain? How does this compare in speed, cost, and user experience to traditional cloud and layer 2 setups? The Dfinity team said Internet Computer hosts front end, back end, and data within Canister smart contracts. And by the way, first of all, I really have to give credit where credit's due. The team at Dfinity have finally started to refer to ICP canisters as canister smart contracts, because nobody in the blockchain space knew what canisters were. And so they know what smart contracts are. And so the fact that they changed the verbiage from we're just using canisters to canister smart contracts, this is probably one of the best moves that they could have done recently in the verbiage of how they talk about what this is. Because people, if you just say caffeine AI, people don't know what that is. And if you just say caffeine, nobody knows what that is either. You have to say something like code your own DApp in under 5 minutes. That's what caffeine AI is, or something like that. Even self-writing internet, it doesn't explain to somebody who doesn't know what the self-writing internet is, what it is, and it's not going to make me curious enough to go figure it out. But if you say, create a DApp with this AI in under 5 minutes, boom, we're going to get there, right? And so Internet Computer is listening, and they are learning kind of what needs to change to kind of let people understand what Internet Computer is capable of. Because I don't think that it's a technological perspective. I really think it's I don't want to say marketing, but a communication perspective. Do people understand what Internet Computer is and what Internet Computer is capable of doing? If you just said, well, we have canister smart contracts and chain fusion technology, they're going to look at you and say, what the F does that even mean, right? And so if you say we have canister smart contracts, which can hold a lot more data and process a lot more compute than traditional smart contracts on Ethereum, what do you think everyone's going to do? They're going to start using it and testing it and seeing what it's all about. Anyway, they said Internet Computer hosts the front end, back end, and data within the smart contract. It achieves sub-second finality, supports over 770,000 transactions per second in an Ethereum equivalent, and offers gasless user experience through the reverse gas model. Apps are served with HTTPS and Web 2-like authentication. Chain Fusion also enables bridgeless cross-chain actions, enabling centralized points of failure, like a smart contract bridge on other ecosystems. The next question was, what tooling or protocol upgrades are planned in 2025 to simplify onboarding and accelerate adoption of fully on-chain apps, particularly for Web 2 developers? The Dfinity team said, key initiatives include Caffeine for no-code AI app development and ICP Ninja, a web-based IDE with templates for Web 2 developers. Recent Niobium upgrades introduce vet keys for confidential data, while upcoming Flux and Pulse milestones will improve scalability and user experience for internet identity. So I literally just praised Dfinity for like making things more understandable, and then the next question they did the complete opposite. Again, key initiatives include caffeine. Caffeine to me means go get some coffee, which by the way, I need some because I already finished my coffee before this video. So I do need more caffeine. But they need to say caffeine AI or coded data. Like they need to put what it is in the same sentence so that when somebody's reading this, they're not just saying key initiatives include caffeine for no code AI app implementation. So I need to go get a cup of coffee for no code app implementation. That's what I'm reading this as. Again, they need to fix this because just saying caffeine and having advertisements saying caffeine, it totally misses the point of advertising, right? At least in my view. And again, ICP Ninja, nobody knows what that is either. I've done multiple videos on it and I still don't even know what it is, right? Vet keys we know is a privacy layer, but you know, they have to simplify these terminology because Cardano, the same type of situation happened. They delegated, they didn't have staking. They didn't have smart contract, they had Mithril or whatever the hell it was. It just creates a level of complexity that's unnecessary in my view, instead of just keeping the verbiage the same across the board. But I know that a lot of users in the ecosystem don't necessarily agree with that. But again, this whole paragraph, if I wasn't following Internet Computer regularly, I would have no idea what any of this meant. And even though I do follow Internet Computer regularly, I still have no idea what any of this means. Have to simplify it. But anyway, moving on. How is Internet Computer enabling the creation of apps that are not only decentralized, but also censorship resistant, autonomously upgradable, and self-evolving over time? They said ICP uniquely allows full stack sovereignty apps that are owned and governed by users, DAOs, or even autonomously. No part of the stack depends on centralized infrastructure, offering true resistance to censorship and external interference. Now they talk a little bit more about the sovereign cloud, apps, and AI. So they were asked, Internet Computer is described as a sovereign cloud. How does this architecture differ from traditional cloud or modular layer 2 platforms in terms of autonomy, scalability, and trust minimization? The Dfinity team said Internet Computer decentralizes the entire infrastructure stack through independently owned nodes hosted globally. Chain key cryptography enables unbounded scalability with subnets validating messages efficiently. Unlike Ethereum rollups or layer 2s, Internet Computer doesn't rely on centralized cloud components. Yeah, because Internet Computer is the cloud. That's the point, right? How is Internet Computer uniquely positioned to support AI models running entirely on chain? Great question, because currently Caffeine AI is not running on chain. It's running off chain and it deploys the dApp that it creates on chain. They said Internet Computer smart contracts can store up to 500 gigabytes and run AI models directly on chain. It ensures trustless training and execution, addressing the AI black box problem. Data privacy is preserved via smart contract controlled access. So again, this answer is opposite from what I understand of Internet Computer. And again, this is the communication needs to get clear, because it's starting to turn me a little bit, right? Because from my understanding, from a developer, I had to do a whole video on this. I think the video was called "Internet Computer Does Not Do That." Let's find it. Because in that video, right after Caffeine AI was released, we found out that Caffeine AI was not actually running on chain and that it could potentially in the future, but it wasn't. Does not do that. I think that's what the title was called. No, that's clearly not. It was definitely called ICP Does Not Do That, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I would think it was this. I was wrong about ICP. Go watch this video. I was wrong about ICP. In this video, we talked about how one of the developers who work at Dfinity specifically said that the large language model of Caffeine AI does not run on chain. And this is very counter in this interview to what they say here. They say run AI models directly on chain. Now, maybe it's saying it can do this, but it's not currently doing this. And I think that that's important to understand. When are we going to see AI fully on chain, right? So they asked here, can you share a real world example of an AI model currently deployed via ICP canisters? They said Internet Computer supports large language models up to 1 billion parameters and is building AI workers, nodes with preloaded models that smart contracts can invoke. Outputs are validated via consensus, ensuring trust while minimizing latency. They didn't answer the question. The question was, can you share a real world example of an AI model currently deployed via ICP canisters? And they just said ICP supports these. So that basically, going back to the previous question, it means that no AI models are currently running on chain. So instead of saying currently we're not running the AI models on chain, they're just not answering the question. I think a better way to answer this would be for training purposes and for rollout purposes and making and also monitoring of the AI model purposes. We're keeping it off chain in a controlled, centralized environment until we can figure out a way to get it on chain, and still have those measures in place. But they didn't answer it. Anyway, what does the roadmap look like? And by the way, this doesn't mean I'm bearish. Okay, on this channel, I give you guys my unbiased opinion and analysis. Sometimes the analysis is all positive stuff. Sometimes it's all negative. Sometimes it's a combination. I mean, most of this video is very positive about Internet Computer and the capabilities, but that doesn't mean that there's not things that need to be addressed or worked on, or they need to do better, right? Because otherwise, Internet Computer would be a finished product, and I don't think any blockchain is a finished product. What does the roadmap look like for decentralized AI this year and next year into 2026? They said ICP will expand AI worker support, introducing fine-tuning and retrieval augmented generation, and enable smart contracts to use AI agents, canister interface descriptions or canister IDs, and inter-canister call support service discovery and monetization. Again, no idea what any of that means. How is the developer ecosystem evolving on ICP? They said Motoko and Rust remain the core, with TypeScript support approaching. ICP Ninja and Caffeine AI simplify onboarding. Caffeine AI, they need to stop saying just caffeine. Caffeine AI, that's what they need to call it. Because again, caffeine democratizes development by allowing anyone to build apps via AI interactions. Yes, when I'm drinking coffee, I can do that very well. That's why they need to put Caffeine AI. Just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of development. And I think the development is just going to remain vertical, right? I mean, I can't see AI not continuing to grow, not just within Internet Computer, but pretty much all the AI capabilities that we're seeing. And then they talk about Bitcoin DeFi and chain fusion. And by the way, if you like these kind of breakdowns where I give you guys my opinion on these interviews, sometimes we do this in video interviews as well when, developers or founders of different ecosystems are talking about it, but it does give you a little bit of insight into what is really working within the Internet Computer ecosystem, what is not working within the Internet Computer ecosystem, and what they are developing or working on. And that, for me as an investor, right, this is critically important, because if you're not seeing progress, you need to be able to say like, maybe it's time to exit this investment. I don't think that's the case. I think that what Internet Computer is doing with AI capabilities is revolutionary. My biggest fear here for Internet Computer is that another ecosystem will be able to replicate this kind of capability and technology and roll it out faster than Internet Computer is doing. I just don't know that any other blockchain or network has the compute capabilities with the smart contract size to be able to do this. Even with upgrades to those other networks, I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think Internet Computer has such a head start that all of these small things that I'm calling out and the things that they're working on the back end are really easy compared to getting it started, right? So, how does Internet Computer's chain key cryptography enable seamless interoperability? They said ICP enables native blockchain integration without bridges or custodians. Canister smart contracts can create Bitcoin addresses, read and write to Bitcoin, and sign transactions on chain. Ethereum and Solana integrations are already live, and BNB chain is on the roadmap. So, what is ChainKey Bitcoin's current adoption and use within Internet Computer's DeFi ecosystem? Now, I already showed you the increase in Bitcoin that is locked in the DeFi on Internet Computer, which is growing. But they said it's the fourth most transacted Bitcoin derivative. Apps like Liquidium, Odin Fund, Kairos, and Kong Swap are building Bitcoin native DeFi on Internet Computer enabled by Chain Key Bitcoin's seamless performance and security. They said, what is the timeline for outbound calls to other blockchains, meaning more interoperability? Outbound calls to Ethereum and Solana are live. Support for EVM compatible chains is expanding. A Dogecoin integration is upcoming, enabling more native asset interactions. How will Chain Fusion evolve by 2026? And by the way, don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. So Chain Fusion aims to abstract blockchain complexity, allowing canister smart contracts to execute logic across chains and Web2 APIs. The goal is a seamless DeFi singularity where users interact with all assets from a single interface. What are the strategic partnerships to accelerate cross-chain development? Ooh, I love this one. Internet Computer is a strategic partnership with Binance and building ties with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana ecosystems. These partnerships drive adoption of Chain Fusion and the self-writing internet. So I don't know what kind of strategic partnership they're in with Binance. That's going to be very interesting to kind of dig a little bit more into, but this is definitely an opening for Internet Computer and Dfinity to expand their partnerships with other blockchains, with other development firms, with potentially AI companies across the world. And I would expect by next year, Internet Computer to have more of strategic partnerships than just saying we have a strategic partnership with Binance and no other company or no other blockchain in the ecosystem of crypto. Like there's 2 million cryptos out here. They should definitely be working a little bit more in depth. We know that Hedera has expressed interest in utilizing some of the caffeine AI and AI capabilities of Internet Computer. But that doesn't mean that HBAR is coming to Internet Computer, and that doesn't mean that Hedera is actually working to integrate Internet Computer. It just means that they're going to utilize some of the technology from Internet Computer, which is currently not on chain, right? Caffeine AI is not on chain when I'm recording this. So them using it doesn't really impact Internet Computer. And so we definitely need more strategic partnerships across chains and also with developers of these other ecosystems, because Internet Computer, I think, can enhance these other ecosystems or enhance these dApps, not necessarily take over or be the main chain for it. And I think that's the way they need to look at it, right? Because a lot of people in crypto, they look at things as like all or none. It's like either they're coming to Internet Computer or we're not interested. And I think that they could utilize some of the capabilities, similar to how you use Chainlink to tap into off-chain resources or resources on another chain. Same thing here, tapping Internet Computer for their smart contract capability, for their AI coding capability, etc. And so then they talk about tokenomics. This is really also interesting. Remember, Internet Computer is 100% circulating supply, 40% is staked. Last I checked on the dashboard, they had an error here. Yeah, it got corrected. On a previous video I did, it said 70% of all the coins were staked. And I'm like, whoa, we did not see a rise that much. But I think it was an issue as they've been upgrading the whole network and upgrading the dashboard. I think it was just an API error. But you can see 43% of all the coins in existence are in staking. And a lot of these are staked for multiple years. And that shows a big commitment to the Internet Computer ecosystem. 27% are locked for 8 years. Compute cycles burn Internet Computer, driving deflation as usage scales. Projects like Water Neuron enable liquid staking, and Caffeine is set to expand token utility. They said, what advice would the Dfinity team give to developers deciding between Internet Computer and modular ecosystems like Celestia or Ethereum rollups. They said Internet Computer isn't just a competitor, it's a powerful complement. Developers can build fully sovereign, interoperable apps and tap into chain fusion, all while remaining in their native ecosystem. And then finally, they said, in one sentence, what is the Internet Computer in 2025 and what's its most transformative role by 2030? They said in 2025, ICP powers the self-writing internet where anyone can build apps via AI. By 2030, it becomes the fluid internet where apps adapt in real time to user interaction. And that's really what they're trying to achieve here, because the Internet Computer team is trying to become the world computer. And obviously, this is going to take time to get there, right? They have to really expand the network, really expand the capabilities, really expand the interoperability, and all the other things within the infrastructure, right, of Internet Computer. But I think that Internet Computer is well situated for it. I think they have the correct team for it. They got through a bear market after a major price manipulation fiasco when they first launched from the likes of FTX and Alameda. And now they're getting out of that. And now we're in a new cycle with new technologies, really, really good on-chain metrics, better than most chains in the world, right? And we're still kind of not seeing the super excitement that I have for Internet Computer's ecosystem, for the AI capabilities and the compute capabilities of the chain. And I think a lot of this does have to do with the communication style of the rollout of this, right? Getting people to really understand what Internet Computer is, and not just what Internet Computer is and can do, but really how advanced Internet Computer is compared to the rest of crypto. No other ecosystem has this kind of capabilities, from storage on-chain, compute on-chain, AI building dApps on-chain, having an app store on-chain, and all of these kind of things, plus such a high amount of coins locked up for such a long period of time. These are all very bullish signals about development and about the valuation perspectives for this network. But I guess they goes back to nobody knows until everybody knows. And so right now, where nobody knows, soon, hopefully, it's going to be everybody knows about Internet Computer Protocol. But it's going to take a lot of hard work from community members like yourselves, getting the word out, from the team of developers, from the team at Internet Computers Dfinity, and from teams outside of the ICP ecosystem that are going to integrate the Internet Computer technology. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this kind of video where we broke down what Internet Computer is doing, where they're going, and really some opinions and suggestions on how they can improve not only the messaging, but the marketing around this incredible network that is the Internet Computer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That way you never miss a new video. We upload every single day. Sometimes we do deep dives like this. Sometimes we talk about the macro financial conditions of the market. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving the video a thumbs up and commenting down below. As they say, invest responsibly and crypto on.